Hey guys, I'm Nick, and in this video, I will show you how to make $100,000 or more per year with a side hustle. I've done it consistently for the last 5 years, which means that you can too. So over the last 5 years, I've accumulated a portfolio of 5 lifestyle businesses, 5 side hustle businesses. What are these businesses? 1, a set of online courses that help job candidates ace their interviews with Amazon and get hired by Amazon. 2, a consulting practice that helps small companies interview and hire candidates as efficiently as Amazon does. 3, running a 2-bed, 2-bath Airbnb apartment in Seattle, Washington. 4, selling covered call options every week against stocks in my portfolio. And 5, running an Ethereum validator, which I self-host on AWS. So each of these businesses have gotten to the point of being either completely passive or semi-passive. I'll give you an example. The Airbnb business and the Ethereum validator business are completely passive. The Airbnb did not start that way, but right now it is. For both of these businesses, I do not spend any time running them now. They are just passively creating revenue and income for me. The selling of covered calls takes about 2 hours each week to get going and issue the calls and wait for those calls to expire worthless, hopefully at the end of the following week. The online courses for candidates who want to work for Amazon, 50% of that business is passive because it's pretty much pre-recorded courses and content, video content, which customers preview first, then they download and purchase, and there's no involvement from me. And finally, the B2B consulting business, that's primarily hourly based, and you can choose to scale that up or down per your availability. The reason I'm sharing this with you is because you can do this as well. I didn't start 5 years ago with 5 businesses. I started with 1. I started with the Airbnb business. And so can you. You can start, you can start even with a half a business, half a side hustle, learn the ropes, get better at it, and then grow it. Then invest yourself fully in that side hustle. Then maybe add a second one in time, so on and so forth. The point I'm trying to make here is that I wish I had somebody tell me this back in the day, and I made the mistake of leaving my corporate job to start these side hustles and these lifestyle businesses, and there was much more drama than I would have liked in getting them up to speed. If I had known better, I could have done this more gradually while I was still employed and still reach the same outcome. I ended up being okay in the end, but again, the point of this video and subsequent ones is to share with you this knowledge that's going to help you get on your way. Okay, so I'll describe each of those 5 businesses in quite a bit more depth later on in the video. But before I do that, I want to answer the why me question in 2 parts. The first part would be sharing with you a couple of principles that I will want every one of my videos to adhere to. And the second part would be telling you about myself and what makes me qualified to ask you to, and hope that you would give me your precious time and watch me talk. So let's start with the principles that I would like to aspire to for each of the videos that I'll share with you. So sharing my screen with you here, all the experience, there's 3 principles that I will adhere to. All the experience that I'll share with you in these videos, starting with this one, is 100% lived experience. This is not something that I've read online or heard on a podcast somewhere. This is completely first degree lived experience that I have gone through with blood, sweat, and tears, and I would love to save some of that for you. There's a good saying I like by Andy Jassy, who's the CEO of Amazon, and the saying goes, there's no compression algorithm for experience. I think it's a wise statement, and I agree with half of it. The half that I agree with is that there's no shortcuts to success. There's a lot of gurus online who are going to try to prey on your fear of missing out, your FOMO, and who are trying to convince you that you can make millions of dollars on a weekend. I don't necessarily believe that these are credible things. If something looks too good to be true, most likely it is too good to be true. But the part that I disagree with in this statement is that unless you know what you're doing, you're prone to make mistakes, and you can borrow from other people's experience in order to get better at it. As they say, the first person in space didn't have a good time getting there. And to give you a different analogy, I'm sure a lot of you can relate. If you've had to do a home improvement project of any kind, your intent is to go to Home Depot. You go to Home Depot, you buy a bunch of supplies, you come home, and then you find yourself that over the next 7 days, you have to go back to Home Depot 3 times a day because you uncover all these things you didn't know, and you are in a mess, and you break more things than you fix, and so on and so forth. So with this video and future videos that I'm going to publish, I'm going to exactly try to save you having to go to Home Depot 3 times a day, 7 days a week, and instead of just getting it done right or as quickly as possible. So that's principle number 1. All the experience I'm going to share with you is lived experience. Principle number 2 is that, as I call it, this is built in public. And every single video that I'm going to share with you, the way I've tried to approximate this is every single video will have a live screen share. So you don't have to trust me, you don't have to just listen to me move air, you have to see it. And I'm not gonna tell you, I'm gonna show you. Don't believe me, just watch, right? And also I'm gonna be vulnerable with you, right? I'm not gonna just show the successes, I'm gonna show the failures as well. I've already shared with you how I could have done things much better in the beginning, and I wish I had someone like me now to have saved me some of that headache. So I'm gonna try to be open, no showboating, transparent with you, and try to save you and try to show you something of substance instead of just talking. And then lastly, the information I'm gonna share with you would be useful and tactical. As I put it, try to use it, put it to good use in 15 minutes after the video has ended, right? This is not going to be me telling you how you need to learn these academic concepts that don't have any grounding in reality, or they're somewhat obscure. This is going to be the rubber hitting the road, very specific bite-sized information, and something that you can put to good use as soon as the video is over. And finally, what I want to say is that this isn't a principle, but this is my path, right? I'm going to be very transparent with you, very open, and this is not to say that everything I've done works perfectly. Please use what you like, what you find useful, discard the rest. And also, a lot of you might have gone through similar experiences yourselves. Please share that in the comments if you'd like. I'd love to hear from you. But the primary audience for this video and for this channel are people who want to build something on the side without having to get a big loan or mortgage their house, and who want to create that source of independence for them, freedom, step by step. The builders, the lifestylers, the solopreneurs who absolutely can do that but don't know how to start. And that's who I'd love to help with those videos. My goal is to share everything, as I said. That means you don't have to do those 5 businesses to replicate those 5 businesses that I share with you. What's more, please feel free if you want to, but what's more important is for you to take away the building blocks, the mechanisms that can help you succeed on your own. All right, and the second part of my quick preamble is to tell you about myself, not because I like talking about me, but to share my journey in order to prove to you that if I can do something, if I can achieve this freedom, you can as well. So I'm an immigrant. I'm an immigrant from Eastern Europe, from a country called Bulgaria in Eastern Europe. I came to the US with $900 in my pocket, and I was very fortunate to enroll and graduate from a US college. Then I was very lucky to work for Microsoft and Amazon for more than 20 years. And I had a wonderful career there. I was making more than $600,000 in annual compensation at Amazon, along the lines of showing and not telling. Let me share my pay stub with you. You can see here it's my W-2, and I have I have redacted some sensitive information, but the number you're interested in here is the $647,000 in gross pay per year. So I was doing really well, right? But that was not what fed my soul with joy. I left because I have this irrational desire to build. I'm an immigrant. I want to pursue my dreams. I want to build things from scratch, and I jumped ship, and I built a portfolio of these small lifestyle businesses, and I have consistently made over $100,000 in each year since I've left Amazon. Now that's not $600,000 plus, but it's a wonderful accomplishment. And as I keep telling you about my journey, you'll see how in some of these years I actually made even more than $600,000. I made, $3.6 million in one of those years. We're going to get to that later. But again, the point here is that I'm sharing with you the consistent kind of low point across the board has not dipped below $100,000. And if I can do it, so can you. And follow your dreams and build the future for yourself. So some of these things I've already talked about. I want to share practical knowledge with you to build frugal bets and bootstrap your solopreneur businesses. What this isn't going to be, this video and this channel, this is not going to be focused on Silicon Valley and fundraising and VCs and cap tables and so on and so forth. Again, my customer for this video is not them. It's you, the person who wants to lift themselves by bootstraps, who wants to build something from scratch, who believes in themselves, and just needs a little bit of encouragement and know-how and steps in order to get there. And that's it. So enough preamble. Let's jump in. The channel, as I said, is for bootstrappers, solopreneurs, freelancers, lifestyle hackers, which is you. You don't have to be an immigrant to have use from this channel. All right, so here are the 5 businesses, and I'm gonna spend about 5 minutes on each, 5-6 minutes on each, and I'm gonna follow this video with much more specific dive in areas of each of these businesses further, but this initial video would give you a sense of what this portfolio looks like. All right, so starting at the top, Amazon Bound is the Amazon interview preparation service, which is business to consumer e-learning. And here is the website for Amazon Bound. Land a job with Amazon, interview preparation for motivated people. This business has been quite spiky over the years. It's ranged anywhere from $20,000 per year in revenue to $120,000 plus. The last couple of years have been really tough because the economy has been going through a recession in the technology space, and a lot of companies have not only stopped hiring in the technology space, including Amazon, but they've been letting people go. So this business has been very cyclical and challenging to kind of stay afloat lately, but it's continued to hum along. And the way I've designed the business is in the form of concentric circles. I have multiple services. I have courses which are contained in each other, and they start in a very standard fashion. So the essential package here to prepare candidates for their interviews with Amazon is pretty much 100% comprised of pre-recorded content, interactive sections, quizzes, whatnot. And then we start building on that with the premium package, where there's a bit more custom help, where I work with customers and give them critique and feedback on their interview responses. And then Premium Plus is where we have a mock interview with a bar raiser. I used to be a bar raiser at Amazon. And the Platinum package is for very high touch people who want their entire loop interview loop replicated. And the way I've designed this site, and it's gone through a number of iterations over the years, is there's a free amount of courses, so you can enroll for free here in a mini course. At the very top, you can enroll in our, you can join our YouTube channel. All of that stuff is completely free. And then after you convince yourself that this is quality information, you start climbing up the ladder and purchasing the premium content, and you kick butt and you join Amazon and you change your life. I'm also letting people book calls with me directly so that they get to know me ahead of time, ask questions, and be less stressed about committing dollars to a purchase with me. I think that's that about Amazon Bound. I can show you really quickly the type and the structure of the courses. So the essential package, that's the lowest paid level. It costs $247 for about 6 hours of video content and a bunch of interactive exercises. And then when we start adding the custom content, you can see that the price goes up to $600 for the premium package, to $1,500 for the premium plus, and an even higher point for the platinum package. And I would say about 50% of the business comes from the self-serve course, and the rest is the custom higher end touch experience with customers. So again, the point that I want to stress here in sharing these businesses with you is not to replicate them verbatim one-on-one. You could if you want to, but find that piece in you, find that commitment and area that you're completely passionate for, that you believe you can excel. In this case, in Amazon Bound, I'm completely serious when I say here that my program will prepare our customers to be in the top 3% of candidates that Amazon has seen during the interviews. I firmly believe that. And I know you do as well. You got to just identify what's that area where you're so exceptional, you're better than anyone else in the world, and you're in the top 3% for your potential customers. Find that and start building a business around it. Start small as a side hustle and see where it takes you. You don't need to eat the elephant in one bite. Just one step at a time is going to get you there. And this channel and this video is going to hopefully help you along the way. All right, so that's Amazon Bound. Then we get to BarRaiser. This is the service that helps small companies interview effectively and make measurably stronger hires. This is largely as I said, consultancy business where there's no, as you can see, published pricing anywhere online. The customers pretty much reach out, book a meeting with us, with me, and then we find out how I can help them. The pain point that I'm solving here is for companies that have gotten to about 100 to 200 employees in size. When companies are small enough, they don't need someone like me to come and tell them what to do. They just do it. The founding team, the founders of the company, they interview every candidate themselves. If they make a mistake, they let the person go very quickly. So there's really very little downside in running their business the way they know how. And because they're so effective and successful at it, they get to a point where those processes or lack of processes in the past starts to backfire. And that's when they need someone like me to step in and help them put best practices around how they can interview and identify top talent, because they cannot do everything themselves. Okay, then we get to my Airbnb. I call it the Hilltop, and this is my pride and joy. I love all these businesses equally, but I love the Hilltop especially because that was my very first business. And unlike Amazon Bound and BarRaiser, which are very spiky businesses, I didn't mention BarRaiser. I should have. BarRaiser makes about, again, $20,000 to $120,000 plus per year in revenue. Unlike those two businesses, the Airbnb business is very predictable, steady Eddie. It makes about $65,000 to $70,000 in revenues per year, And I used to do everything on my own. I started out completely doing everything from cleaning the sheets to welcoming the guests to setting up the site, so on and so forth. I've gone a long way since then, and now I work with a wonderful property management company, property management business partner. His name is Lyle. He's been a super host for 8 years running, and right now he takes care of the whole operation, and I'm just a partner, and we share the revenues and the profits together. We have been very fortunate to have the sought after moniker of a guest favorite. So I will list this property in the comments under the videos. So if any of you come to Seattle, please feel free to stay with us. But we're very proud of what we've built. Our cleanliness is spotless. Accuracy, check-in, communication, location, value, those are all pretty high results. And I will go into this business in much more depth in my subsequent videos as well. I started out with the Airbnb, with the Hilltop, and it's led to a number of other things, and I'll walk you through as well how the ideas that I had and the experience that I had with the Hilltop starting out led to these other avenues as well, which I could not have predicted at the time. That's why it's so important to start small, start halfway even, and see where that takes you. The next business is the or side hustle or lifestyle business is the trading of covered call options against stocks in my portfolio. Here I'm sharing with you my Schwab account. It's one of the accounts where I sell these covered calls. You can see how consistently there is revenue that comes in every week or so. Over the last couple of weeks, I have not done much selling of calls because the market has been very volatile. Again, we'll go through the specifics here in a lot more depth further on. But in pretty much in a good month, in a good year, you can see how it's $223 a week, $223 a week, $625 a week, $424 a week, $156 a week. So these are revenue streams that trickle in, that I sell these calls against my stock with a pretty substantial cushion, where it's highly unlikely that the stock is going to appreciate in just a week and trigger me having to sell those shares. So these shares, as you can see, expire worthless pretty much every single time. It's happened that some of them, in some cases, I'm forced to close my call at a loss, but I place about maybe 300 or 400 of these trades every year, and maybe 1 or 2 go bad every year. And you can see in this particular case how I, with the proceeds of these trades, I doubled down and added another 20 shares of Amazon in this case, and pretty much got that investment for free. Or again, you can use those proceeds to as cash flow if you'd like. The fifth business is the Ethereum Validator on AWS. This is more technical, more highly technical stuff. I will go through it in much more depth at the right time, just to give you a sense of what you're looking at here. This is the public window on the Beacon chain, which is the Ethereum chain of where all the validators are confirming and validating transactions, crypto transactions with Ethereum. And a validator has 32 Ethereum in it. One Ethereum is about $3,000. So you can imagine you need about $90,000 to set up a validator up and running. If you don't have that much money, you can certainly do a partial validator with services like Coinbase or Lido. There's no requirement for the 32 Ethereum cutoff. But what you need to keep in mind here is that you can get revenues by validating blocks, by proposing new blocks, by confirming attestations. These are transactions on the chain. And I've deposited my initial 32 Ethereum deposit. As you can see, almost, what is that? That's in 2022, so almost 2.5 years ago, 2 years ago now. And then here are my consistent withdrawals every week or so. The interest that gets accrued from validating these transactions gets deposited into my wallet. And in time, my total rewards are 2.2 Ethereum. And in total, the appreciation, not the appreciation, but the APR, the annual percentage yield, the dividend yield, if you will, is about 3%. I need to clarify here, obviously, for the Ethereum Validator and for trading of these covered calls on Schwab and elsewhere, please take these and do these at your own risk. This is not financial advice. I'm not a licensed investment advisor. These instruments have obviously lots of risk, and you should do your own diligence before you do those. All right, so let me go back to my walkthrough here and catch up. So I walked you through Amazon Bound, the Amazon interview preparation business. As I said, $20,000 to $120,000 a year in revenue. BarRaiser, B2B e-learning consulting business, similar, $20,000 to $120,000 in revenue every year. Hilltop is the Airbnb Condo in Seattle. That's a gig B2C, business to consumer gig economy, about $65,000 in revenue a year. Cynthiana, that's the equity options trading. On a good week, you can make as much as $1,000 with my risk appetite in revenue from selling these calls. You saw one of my accounts only. I have a few others, but it's entirely up to you how risky you want to get in order to get those revenues in. And Chilton is my self-hosted Ethereum validator on AWS. You could scale that investment up or down if you'd like. You can do a partial Ethereum with services like Coinbase or Lido, or you can do a full self-hosted Ethereum, which I'm going to walk you through on a different video how to do with Launch Nodes is the service that I use. Again, for Cynthiana and Chilton, I am not a financial advisor, and you should please not take this as official investment advice. So these are my 5 lifestyle businesses. I also want to talk about what I call below the line. There are a number of other projects that I'm constantly working on as I get to scale these businesses. And scale is the wrong word because these are lifestyle businesses. But what I'm trying to say is, as I make these businesses to be more self-sufficient and less involved for me and more passive based businesses, I look at others that I can add to this portfolio. And I call this project Senoia. So this is an incubator, as I think of it, where I try to experiment with new ideas and new crazy concepts. They can be small, they can be big. The point there isn't to add meaningfully to my free cash flow, but to experiment and learn. And as I say, you're either winning or you're learning. And some of the bets here that I will share with you in time are an AI children's book that I've created. I've been licensed as a notary. I have an alcohol serving license. I'm a Preply tutor, so on and so forth. So these businesses they're not even businesses. They're these incubator services. They are destined to fail more than succeed. But the point here is to stay curious and stay hungry and constantly learn. So I'll share with you on this tab one of these Senoia businesses. That's the children illustrated book. I've called it Mason and His Marvelous Machine, and it's a self-published book on Amazon Direct Publishing, Kindle Direct Publishing. The book hasn't done exceptionally well, but again, the point here is to just learn. I've learned so much about Midjourney AI, about Canva. I'm going to share those findings with you in a future video just to show you what the listing looks like. And all of them are reviewed at 5, and it's a beautiful book. It's an absolutely beautiful book that I published for my own son. I have a 9-year-old boy, and I wanted to have a project that we complete together. And the final project below the line is a project called PureBlazor. And PureBlazor is, think of PureBlazor as a platform that helps you create online content, web pages, or apps if you are a .NET or a C# engineer. This is a highly technical concept. I said this channel is not going to be a startup-oriented channel, but this is the project that I have in that field. I'm very lucky to work with a highly technical co-founder. His name is Cody, and we're building PureBlazor together. This is likely the first and last time I'm going to mention PureBlazor on this channel and in a video, unless you want to know more about it. And the takeaway here is that we're building something for, it's a SaaS, it's a software as a service startup. And again, it's a wonderful field, but not the focus of this channel, because again, the audience, the channel that I want to touch with my content and help with primarily is the hustler and the startup person and the solopreneur and the bootstrapper. Okay, so this is it. This was it for our first video. Let's see where we're at. We're at almost at the 30-minute mark. So it's time to wrap things up. My parting thoughts are that this channel will help you if you are all those things that I mentioned. If you are this independent mind, this independent soul who wants to build a lifestyle business for themselves to improve the lot of their family or their loved ones or themselves, and you know you have the capability and the knowledge to do it, but you just don't know how to start. You don't have the financing, you don't know the specific steps, and I'm here to tell you that you can do it in your free time, starting slowly, step by step at first, and then starting your flywheel funnel, your flywheel as you evolve over the next several months. So I hope this is useful. If it is, please subscribe to this channel. But much more importantly, send me your feedback. Send me your thoughts. What do you think? What are some areas that you think are worthwhile telling you more about? I have prepared 56 additional topics that are very concrete in this bite-sized fashion that I talked about. And I'm going to start publishing those videos on this channel. So please stay tuned. Best of luck. You can do it. Talk soon.